first load of supplies is officially back at the house. Got a massive pile of insulation. Woo! So we didn't have the trailer with us this time, but next time we'll bring the trailer with and we'll get a whole lot more, plus some plywood, plus some metal, because this house is gonna be finished real soon. Let's take a peek. Oh, there it is. So pretty. Come here. Hi. Oh, it is raining again. Well, I don't know how we lucked out with such beautiful weather when our guests were here, but they left yesterday, so of course today we're back to a whole lot of rain. We used up every single board that we had with frames, so that means that we're also back to cutting down trees, milling all the lumber. Well, the sun came out, but there's a little bit of a mishap with a log and Cody's foot. So right now he's taking a rest in the camper, trying to let that heal up a bit. It's hurting. But hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day, he'll be back at it. We'll see. So in the meantime, I have to figure out something to do that I can do by myself, which is not going to be milling lumber because I just am not comfortable doing that. So instead, I'm going to figure out how we're going to put insulation in our floor. So we did just go and pick up a bunch of pink insulation from the store, but we're going to save that and use that in the walls and the roof. And then for the floor, we have all of this stuff that we grabbed, and it's kind of piled way back there, that we got when we helped clean up a neighbor's house. And we're going to use this stuff first in the floor. But we don't want to do 3 layers thick. So we have these end cutoff boards that are about a 1x2 or something similar. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of nail them up as a spacer so that the insulation can sit up higher and not be lower. So we're just going to kind of put the spacer here so we can set the insulation in, and then we're going to buy, I can't remember what brand it is. It's silver, shiny, and it's super, super thin insulation. So when we put this pink foam, then we're going to lay that shiny insulation all the way across, and then we'll put some plywood on top of that. So for right now, I think I'm going to just kind of experiment and just see how it goes, and maybe just go this first row. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So I'm guessing that since all of our pieces of insulation are kind of just different lengths, I'm gonna have to go through, cut the section that I want for that specific gap, and then I think I'm just gonna have to put in these spacers wherever it just happens to line up. So this might be more of a every single one's different instead of an easy just kind of do the same thing all the way across, which is fine. It just might take a little bit more time, a little bit more measuring. One. And that's not even half of the first gap. That was so much harder to cut when you only have to take off like 1/4 of an inch or less in most of that spot. Some of these are going to be a little bit easier because the boards are just thicker to start with, or wider to start with. So I'm going to feel hopeful about that one, that they won't all be this terrible. The trick is just to have a really sharp knife so that you can try to get as smooth of a cut as possible without it catching and getting all the little foam bits everywhere. But we'll see what we can do. I might just put in this one for right now because that took forever and I'm getting hungry, so I think I'm going to go make some food. But needs to happen. It's not a very fun step in the process, but when I'm stuck doing just kind of some tasks by myself, this is probably a really good job for me. So hopefully throughout this week, however long it takes Cody to kind of get back on his feet again, I can chip away at this and get decently far, hopefully with all the floor. We're still only about 1/3 of the way done. We're slightly over 1/3 of the way with the main frames. We're out of the 2x4s, but today Cody and I made 2 trips getting a bunch of logs. So we at least have, as soon as he's back and able to mill again, we have a bunch of logs over there so that we can get moving on that. But in the meantime, think this might just be a week of a lot of small projects. Cody gets to teach me how to mill today. He's broken. Luckily, we have smaller logs because we're aiming for 2x4s. I'm also not sure if this was mentioned before or not, but we did order a new part for our muffler, and it came in the mail actually really fast, so we already have it, and we put it on there. Hello. So we ordered a new part for the muffler. It came in the mail already, so we stuck it on there and it's working again. So that was good. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay.
And when you put your log dogs up, make sure you're clamping it below the height of
the center?
The supports over there that you just put up. So if you go over it, it starts pushing the top over instead of making it tight. And then it has problems getting squared up. Raise her up. You got a ways to go up yet.
You can't just stand up and do this part.
I thought I was teaching you.
I don't care about this
unlock
part.
it first.
I really don't
Other
care.
way. Just go until there's like this much of the log you're cutting. Like a 1/4 inch of it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
This part I know.
You do?
Nope.
Oh, turn the red all the way to the right. That's the fuel shut off. So that's on.
And then pull it.
You'll want to do the choke for the first one. Do the choke to about half, which is the black right
one?
above it. Yep. Probably bring it back a little more than that. No, a little back. Probably about there. Yeah, give it a pull. It should start up. Choke back. There you go.
allowed to injure yourself anymore because everything you do is awful. So I did some milling last night under Cody's instruction, and I was able to get 5 2x4s, which I think is just enough to get this first row of purlins completely done all the way up to the top. So I cut them to length, and now we're gonna go nail them up there, and we'll see how this goes. Cody found a way to do it all by himself, so I think I can figure it out too. It doesn't seem like it's that high up from the ground, but when you're up there, it's pretty high. Oh, and I'm not the biggest fan of heights. Woo! Yay! Except for I do have to go back up there again. have a couple-hour window today to move all of this OSB into its new resting place between the rain showers, so we gotta kind of move fast. So what we did here is we did just enough rows for a sheet of OSB to kind of sit on top. We're gonna have them run this way. And we have the pink foam in the gaps between. We're gonna kind of do some spray foam wherever, because this is all the used stuff that we got. So wherever there's a gap, because either the 2x4 has a live edge or it just wasn't cut correctly, or there's just like a gash. Like some of them have some gashes in them. We're just gonna kind of put spray foam wherever we see any gaps. And then we have some super shiny reflective insulation that we're going to kind of lay across over top of all of it. And then on top of the shiny reflective insulation, we're going to put our OSB down. Then the rest of the OSB that's still in the truck, we're going to bring it over here, kind of put it in the center, tarp it. And this is what we're going to hopefully have as the safest place for it to sit. Cody at least was able to put some shoes on today.
And I can put weight on it.
Yes.
I just can't really move it.
Yeah. He can stand.
I can stand now.
There's very minimal bruising. I think he did something like a tendon is I think what it is. We stopped at a clinic just quick one day, and they kind of just said to ice and heat. So it's kind of unfortunate, but he's not allowed to do anything.
It is day 4, I think, right?
Well, technically about like this afternoon will be our 72-hour mark.
Yeah.
So it'd be 3 full days.
I think if I give it another, with how it's been going, if I give it another 2 days, I bet you I can walk. It won't be like lifting and running and jumping, but
he at least can climb up our little makeshift ladders and help me put up some purlins. Because the goal is to get the OSB moved over here before it starts training, and then if we have time, which we probably won't have time, so we got the purlins all the way up on this side. Oh, look how pretty that sky is right now, though.
Distracted, so
yeah. So we got the purlins all the way up on this side, but we need to add some extra lengths so we can start putting some sheets up right here, because we're gonna have the sheets run this way, because that's gonna be the easiest for us to push them up and then actually be able to like stand somewhere to tack them in. We did 1 sheet of insulation way up there, so once we get the rest of our purlins in, we'll finish off the insulation at least at the top. We'll put up some OSB, and then we do have some house wrap that we can throw over top of that to try to keep the weather off of it for the time being. But really it's just get this figured out and move all the OSB over. The bubble lines are fairly straight with what it's supposed to be.
yeah.
We'll find out. I'm just going to go down this line of bubbles. Oh no!
It's really long.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, I got this. Can you?
Okay, I got the side.
Okay. Okay. Down. Okay, is it the half on your side? The half on the board?
Not there.
Right there's good?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Start tacking her in. We did it opposite. Okay. The floor joists line up opposite of the loft. So they're all going to be on this side. You know what I mean? Do you want me to get the chalk line?
Probably a better idea.
How did I do this last time?
Light as a feather.
Light as a feather. Oh. You'd think after moving that sawmill, all of this is just a piece of cake. Oh. Oh. I'm gonna hit stuff. I know I'm gonna hit stuff. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay, let's put it down and then try to butt it up as much against that as possible. 0 shimmying. And then is that still about half?
Yep. Right there.
Okay, let me hold it as tight as I can.
You need to bring it down though. There you go. Ready?
Yep. That's good enough.
It is. Oh, let's just do this one quick too.
Yeah, but I have to get more chalk on it, don't I?
You probably could have been fine. It's alright. It's hard to get over there.
We found a good way to kind of deal with the fact that not as much physical stuff is going to get done at the property this week. So we took a lot of trips into town and we've been slowly gathering all of the materials for our house. This last trip, we got doors and windows. So we picked up the rest of our plywood that we couldn't fit in the truck last time. And then we grabbed the front door for our house, and then we also grabbed all of the windows that we're gonna need. So, and I think we also put some, yep, right there, and a giant sack of flour. No, we're not going in the truck today. She begs to go in the truck every morning, don't you? Yeah, you don't need to, okay? We don't need to. We're in a weird phase where the couple sheets that we have down of the OSB, we don't want to get wet. So we have to find a way to keep everything as dry as possible. So we are considering if we want to get this first strip of insulation and OSB put up, and then we're going to put house wrap around it just to kind of keep it like that for the time being. And then that way not as much rain is going to fall down on this flooring as we get this flooring done. I mean, ideally we want to be able to go all the way to the very end, just like we originally planned. But I mean, things happen, and we know that we have some pretty high goals, which is fine. But you always have to have a backup plan. So I think our backup plan right now is going to be, we're going to get this end completely finished and just kind of keep trucking away getting it done as much as we can. And if we ever get so desperate that winter's here, we're super cold, we just need to finish it off, we'll just tack on an end wall and call it good. And then next year we'll have to finish it off. But I think we're both pretty hopeful that we can get this whole thing up though. So.
I think screws would be more difficult. That one we know is good.
If only we don't have to do that like a lot more times.
Yeah.
That would feel good. When we started putting the insulation up on the top here, we were making sure that every piece was fit perfectly snug. There wasn't going to be any gaps. But then we got a really good advice because we were going to be filling in any gaps with foam anyway. Just save ourselves a whole bunch of time, cut them all, you know, like a ½ inch or so short. That way you can just cut them all really quick, stick them up there really fast. Just, you know, make it that much easier on ourselves. So we kind of cut them all a little short on purpose. We're going to fill it with some spray foam. There's also going to be extra insulation from the inside too. But right now, it's actually starting to feel a little closed in. Not weather tight by any means, but looking pretty good. We've got our OSB hanging out down here, kind of doing our best to find out a way to keep as much water off of it as possible. Especially after last week, this doesn't really feel like we got anywhere near the amount done. We're really cruising. We had the extra set of hands. It was awesome. This week it's just back down to the 2 of us, and then literally on day 1 with a couple hours of us working, Cody hurt his ankle. So it's been pretty slow, but progress is still progress. Even though it's not a lot, we still got a pretty good amount done this week. So I'm going to be happy with that. On a positive note though, Cody's ankle is feeling well enough. He can walk. So he actually started to get some more piles of lumber milled for us. So I think this is all going to go towards building the end frame. And then once that end frame is kind of put up and all set together to go, then we're going to go back to actually building more frames to get more frames up. But for right now, this is as far as we're going to go with the insulation. This is as far as we're going with the purlins. We're just going to pause that here. We want to get the OSB up where we have the insulation. I still have 3 pieces to cut, so 1 down there and 2 on this side. Once we get that done, we'll put up the OSB, we'll put on the house wrap, get that end wall framed, and then that's where we're going to hold that off until we get more frames put up. So we're going to kind of do like a little, I don't know, teeter-totter, kind of back and forth of slowly kind of building this house.